For the whole world, this year has been unlike any other, and we, in the NHS, have been in the thick of it. Everyone at the RNOH has worked so hard under difficult and challenging circumstances. We wanted to look back at 2020 to recognise each other's contribution and celebrate how, by working together, we can do great things.
Firstly, I want to thank each and every one of the RNOH family for what has been an incredible year. By family, I mean not just those directly employed at the RNOH, but also the volunteers and colleagues in organisations that we work with to help us achieve what we do. In 2020, the RNOH was named the top orthopaedic provider in the country and the 9th best in the world. We're in the top 50 hospitals worldwide across all specialities. We also have the 3rd best staff experience in London and received an overall good rating from the CQC. None of this is down to one person. It's a collective effort and a result of the knowledge, skill and expertise of each of you, no matter what part you play in this special place.
So, let's start by going back to a time before COVID. Yes, it really did exist. We started 2020 as a leader in the NHS, the first use of a new surgical robot for complex spinal surgery. Mr. Sean Malloy led a team to fix Emma's scoliosis, and her story was picked up by the national press and received 50,000 views on YouTube. In February, 300 colleagues gathered together for the annual Staff Achievement Awards, hosted by comedian Ian Stone. Like the previous year, the Buttercup Singers did their thing, under the direction of, well, me, Christine Bowes.
Hi, Christine here. As you know, I retired earlier this year, but I can't tell you how utterly heartbreaking it was to have to leave the hospital without saying goodbye to all of you wonderful people who I've worked and played with over the last 34 years. Many of you will know that I've returned temporarily to work with the fight against COVID, and I feel immensely proud and privileged to do so. And I'm really looking forward to the celebration party, hopefully in 2021. And you never know, the choir may make an appearance. But my heartfelt message to each and every one of you today is, please continue to do what you do, because you simply are the best. Thank you.
I remember during the award ceremony listening to the names being read out, and then when they said mine, I actually let out a little scream. I was in so much shock, and when I walked onto the stage in a bit of a daze, looking at the pictures from that night, you can see the look on my face. You just don't expect to win something like this for doing your job. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the person or persons that nominated me, and for those who voted for me. It truly is a complete honour and a highlight of my nursing career to date.
The event was fantastic, and our congratulations go to all the nominees, runners-up and winners. It means a lot to be nominated by colleagues and to celebrate it with them. The staff awards ceremony was also the last time former Chief Executive Rob Hurd would attend as CEO.
Hello everyone, Rob Hurd here, and what an honour it is to be speaking to you all from one of the top 10 hospitals on the planet here at the RNOH. I wanted to use the opportunity to thank all of you for the contribution you've all made to the work of the hospital during the course of this last year. The heavy lift that we did during the early phase of that pandemic and have continued ever since. It's been a real relentless marathon, and you've all stepped up and helped us through this time, so thank you. The RNOH has done itself proud in supporting the wider health service during this period, and that puts us in good stead for the future and our future growth and development as a world-leading institution. And I wanted to end by thanking a couple of particular groups of people in the hospital that has helped us during the course of this year. I'm going to acknowledge and recognise the leadership in my absence with Paul as the Chief Executive and the executive team that has stewarded us through this very difficult period. So thank you to the executive team for your leadership during this time. Can I also thank some of the people we don't always remember in some of our thank yous, but the heavy lift that the procurement team did in that early phase, the work of the digital team, our support functions, the work of ISS, and all the support we have from all those support staff to help our frontline workers give the best care to patients. So thank you to all of you, and I can't thank every individual team that I'd like to, but I did want to just make a special effort to thank those that we don't always put at the forefront of our thanks. So thank you.
At the beginning of March, we lost a much-loved colleague. Tony Turner, former head of imaging, passed away after a fight with cancer.
This year, we lost our beloved boss, Tony Turner. He was the most amazing, kind and charismatic person. He was so much more than a boss. He was a friend to us all. He was much loved throughout the hospital. He always made time for each and every one of us. We miss him terribly.
March also brought something that was to impact not just the RNOH, but the whole world. The start of the coronavirus pandemic would transform everything: how we lived, socialise, travel, and, of course, worked. All of us, from Hollywood to Holyhead, had to change how we did things. This included a crash course in online meeting etiquette. "You're on mute" became a frequent call. Virtual consultations became the new norm as staff and patients had to get used to the new technology. Within days, hundreds of consultations had moved online and only essential visits were allowed.
I'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been facilitating and engaged with the rapid rollout of our virtual clinics. It was a very, very short time frame to implement this work, and it was very, very well done. So thank you very much to everybody involved in that.
I just really want to say a big, massive thank you to everyone in the specialist surgery divisions, to all our team members in foot and ankle, upper limb, P&I and the spinal unit, who's really given 110% in this very, very challenging year.
Our new IT department worked rapidly to support this new reality and the hundreds of staff working from home.
There are so many teams that I want to thank within digital services. The infrastructure team, the service desk, the applications team and the projects team who've all worked tirelessly to roll out technology to enable staff to work from home during this time. I've been really impressed by their can-do attitude and by their tenacity and hard work, so thank you.
To help create capacity in the wider NHS, RNOH received trauma patients for the first time in decades.
I'd like to thank the catering team for feeding us throughout the pandemic.
I'd like to thank all the theatre staff for all their hard work, going above and beyond every day, making everything that we do in theatre possible.
I would like to thank our team who are tirelessly looking after patients in the ward.
I'd like to thank all the volunteers who support the vital service at the RNOH.
I'd like to support the pathology department who have run a fantastic service throughout this pandemic and continue to do so.
I would like to support the ISS staff who cleaned and kept the hospital spotless during this pandemic.
I would like to thank the IT department to keep our record and everything into the support team.
I'd like to thank the COVID-19 SWAT team who worked tirelessly on keeping us tested.
And I would like to thank the radiographers for their hard work.
So just to say again, a massive thanks to our discharge and admissions team that went really above and beyond as we switched from an elective centre into a major trauma centre for the whole of London. You guys absolutely smashed it and couldn't be prouder of you.
The highlight of 2020 has been our new SPECT CT camera. We had it installed in May and it's been wonderful in terms of being able to do all of our SPECT CT scans here at RNOH rather than sending them out to other hospitals. I think all of the SPECT CT team needs to be congratulated because they've all done very well in terms of training and learning.
It's been one of the most challenging years we've ever had, but we face it together as one big RNOH family. Special thanks, of course, from me, Critical Support Services Division, the truest sense of the word family and a really good cohesive team. There is light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there, but I know one thing, we'll all be in it together as one big family. So from me, a genuine thank you.
Everyone from surgeons to schedulers, plaster nurses to porters, shifted their roles and focus within days to accommodate trauma patients. From fractured femurs and cracked clavicles, the RNOH showed the flexibility and adaptability to rise to the challenge. As the hospitals and care homes bore the brunt of the pandemic, the UK showed their appreciation to the NHS and other key workers in weekly applause on the nation's doorsteps.
I joined the Trust in January this year and have been absolutely delighted by the warm and friendly welcome I've had from everybody across the Trust. I particularly would like to say a big thank you to my team who have been fabulous here and have really supported me during what's been an extremely challenging period from a workforce perspective. I'm looking forward to the COVID vaccine in 2021 being rolled out and life getting back to a bit more normal.
2020 is the toughest year that we can certainly remember. And we'd just like to have a big thank you for all of those members of staff who've helped pull together as a team and make life bearable for everybody.
So we'd like to thank the foot and ankle admin team, who have been brilliant.
Our specialist nurses and specialist physiotherapists.
All the team down in the operating theatres.
The plaster team who've turned into fracture plasterers.
All the ward staff.
The testing team.
And the infection control team, amongst many others we've probably forgotten.
PPE became the anacronym of the moment. Was there enough? Did it fit? While shoppers cleared the shelves of toilet roll and hand gel, our procurement department made sure the RNOH had enough of what we needed.
I'd like to thank my procurement team for doing a fantastic job over the COVID period. My team is made up of receipt and distribution, the theatre staff, the materials management, the purchasing managers, all the buyers, in terms of having to acquire stock at very short notice. So the team have worked constantly 24/7 over the weekends to make sure all patients and staff are kept safe.
Our partner organisations who work with us day by day did sterling work, making sure we were transported, fed, kept clean and secure.
So I want to thank everybody who works here. Our partner organisations as well as RNOH staff, SWLP, ISS, STEPA, the RNOH charity, as well as staff at Steinmore and at Bolsover. Particularly those of you who developed new skills and stepped into new roles during 2020. That took massive courage. I am so delighted that we're getting the vaccine. It's going to change everything going forward, and I hope that in our personal lives we can get back to much more normality in 2021, and at RNOH we will go onward to better in terms of providing ever more responsive services to our patients linked in across the whole of North Central London.
I would like to say thank you to all ISS staff for everything they've done to make this year as a success. 2020 hasn't been an easy year. However, you have demonstrated a teamwork can do great things.
My highlights for this year has been seeing the effort put in by the NHS to keep everybody safe, everybody sort of like safe from this virus. You know what they've done. I know people say it's their job, but what they've done is inspirational. And
Hi, I'd just like to say a really big thank you to everybody and all the teams that have worked at the RNOH, including the G4S ambulance drivers, for all their commitment over the last really challenging 9 months. So a really big well done and thank you to everybody.
Donations flooded into the Trust on a daily basis from individuals to huge companies, all trying to help. And our wonderful volunteers coordinated the collection and distribution across the Trust. Nutritionists look away now. Boxes of pizzas, tea, coffee, biscuits and sweets made Eastgate House look like Willy Wonka's factory. We even had donations of fridges and coffee machines.
The generosity of local people and businesses to support our staff during wave 1 of the pandemic was astounding. Local resident Natalie Perlman coordinated the donations from the Stanmore Facebook group and organised with Morrison's for regular donations. Our wonderful volunteers made over 350 deliveries of items all across the Trust.
I was redeployed to Stanmore and I went to the phlebotomy department. It was overwhelming, but I had a good team behind me. I had my management in the outpatient department, and also I had the manager from the phlebotomy department. The team I work with was great. I enhanced my skill, and I've taken bloods in everywhere. So all in all, my redeployment was very positive.
I would just like to say thank you to Connie and Irene for their support whilst I was on the wards, because I don't think I'd have gotten through it without them.
I want to take this time to thank all of my colleagues and my friends within the X-ray department and as well as the RNOH.
Radio Broccoli, the RNOH's own award-winning radio station, recorded and broadcast special programmes updating the patients and the public on how we were dealing with the pandemic.
It's an overused phrase that 2020 has been a year like none of us can remember. And I've been involved here at the RNOH since 1968, and I am absolutely astounded and amazed and proud how this hospital has risen to the challenge in 2020 and served its patients so well. Absolutely amazing effort. Thank you, one and all of you, for everything that you've done.
To ensure we maintained a safe site, we started regular testing of staff. We'll never look at a cotton bud in the same way again.
I'd like to thank everyone that's been involved. We've had a lot of different faces up here and your help has been really appreciated. Everyone in the background as well has been great.
Hi, I'm Kate Cox. I'm a relatively new Head of Operations and Deputy Coup. I just started here in May, and obviously I joined when the hospital was such a different place. So different patients, people doing different roles, wards doing different things. And since then, I've really been so impressed by the huge efforts everyone's made to get us back to normal of some sort, though how normal we are. So really huge thanks to everyone who's played a part.
I'd like to say thanks and pay a particular tribute to our allied health professionals across the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital. Despite a very challenging year, not only have we coped, but we've thrived and shown the high quality care that we can provide to our patients.
But as the pandemic raged, there were moments of celebration. The RNOH once again showed its support to Pride, the annual worldwide celebration and show of support to the LBGT community.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that took part in this year's RNOH Pride event. It was our first one that we've done this year, albeit virtually, but we hope to do Pride in London next year, and it was fantastic to see so many people come down and see us and also sign up to be our LGBT allies by signing up for our NHS Rainbow badges. For those that got one on the day, thank you, and also they're still available all the time. You can just sign up. The information is there on our Grapevine page, as well as also through the Value Team email address.
This year really has been a year like no other at the RNOH, and I'm incredibly proud of everything the organisation has achieved. I wanted to say a personal thank you to the L&OD team for creating not only a virtual induction for our new staff, but also putting our training online and pushing forward our equality agenda. I also want to say a massive thank you to both the testing and the track and trace team, neither of which even existed 6 months ago, but are doing a phenomenal job. And finally, I want to say a really big thank you to the amazing comms and engagement team, without whom this video wouldn't have been possible. Thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you to all my anaesthetic colleagues who made working in this stressful time much more manageable. It felt like we were a real team working through this together. In addition, thank you to the wider theatre department who also really stepped up, and I had the opportunity to work with colleagues who I don't normally get the opportunity to work with, particularly all my medic colleagues on the wards who did a fantastic job of looking after these patients both before and after their trauma surgery, and a special mention to the pre-assessment team as well, who did a fantastic job at making sure these patients got through safely.
In June, the Wingman Lounge was opened, offering refreshments and snacks, with staff looked after by experienced cabin crew, volunteering to say thank you to NH staff.
The Wingman Lounge is a really wonderful place to come. I really enjoy being here with all the exceptional staff. They're fantastic. They've made you feel really comfortable.
So it's allowed the opportunity for crew to come together from different airlines and to support each other for our mental health as well as for the NHS staff. It's been a wonderful project to be involved in.
We've really enjoyed our time being here. It's great for the well-being of the staff, and we really hope that you've all enjoyed us being here as well, and good luck for the future and going forward.
The summer was also marked by the activism of Black Lives Matter, a movement dedicated to fighting racism. The RNOH showed its support for anti-racism when staff from across the trust of all ethnicities came together.
I'm very thankful to be a part of a wonderful team within the EAN. My co-chair Jade Atchler and Charlotte Shaw in particular, as well as Edwina Newman. They're fantastic colleagues to work with, and they've been very supportive and engaging in enabling us to have these conversations. We couldn't have these conversations without the support of our senior and executive leadership team. It's been really inspiring to have leaders like Paul Fish and Laura Bevan, and they're just to name a few, really come out and say what is expected of us as a trust, and to be in a space where I, as a black woman working in this trust, can come to work and say Black Lives Matter and be understood and be heard makes the world of difference.
The summer also saw the completion of a new garden for the Spinal Cord Injury Centre, a project that had started in the winter of 2019. The garden was designed and delivered by Horatio's Garden, a charity dedicated to creating gardens for spinal injury patients. The new normal continued at the RNOH. We found ways to continue to celebrate and find common cause through dancing. As part of Black History Month in October, many of us did the Jerusalema dance. This dance is traditionally performed at South African weddings and went viral last year.
So I just want to thank the teams that worked with me, because I wouldn't have done this on my own. I want to thank the pre-assessment teams for arranging double bookings for his appointments. I want to thank the anaesthetic teams, theatre teams and the ward teams, because we all worked together.
Go guys! You're doing really well, keep going. Everyone done it who's getting this, please. They need it, they're working all day. Keep going guys.
On behalf of everyone in Orthotics, I'd like to extend a massive thank you to all of you who've supported us during our Try for Jim campaign. It's been fantastic to be able to reach our target and really help Jim. And if you'd still like to donate, our link is still active. Thank you.
2020 was also Florence Nightingale's bicentennial year, designated by the World Health Organization as the first ever global year of the nurse. It was an opportunity to say thank you to the nursing profession, to showcase their diverse talents and expertise, and to promote nursing as a career.
I have to say special thanks to especially the acute intervention clinical site team. They've really stepped up during this period. We've had to increase the staffing up for that team, because dealing with increased clinical and operational issues, especially out of hours. Since the initial waves, we've put in a COVID booking team, which have not only maintained safety for the patients coming in, but all the staff in the hospital. And this has been a changing picture on a weekly basis, so it's been a real challenge to get that system right.
Hi, I'd like to wish the Bolsover Street nursing team a lovely Christmas, whatever form that may take. They've been absolutely astounding this year, stepping out of their comfort zones and stepping up to the plate, redeployed from our city site to our country branch, working in multiple different departments and having a really positive impact everywhere they've gone. We're back in Bolsover Street now, where they are their usual strong-spirited, honest, flexible, supportive, adaptive selves. They make it easy to come to work every day, and I'm really proud to be part of them. So have a great Christmas, guys, and here's hoping 2021 is better than 2020.
Despite many of the planned events to mark the year being cancelled due to COVID, the pandemic itself showed what great work nurses do every day. October also saw the start of the flu campaign, starring some of our staff. If you haven't had your flu jab yet, it's not too late.
2020 has been a year to forget in all sorts of ways. But funnily enough, I've never been prouder than I am now to work in the NHS. I've spoken to all my colleagues throughout the last 9 months, and everybody's done a fantastic job. It really just makes me proud.
Stay safe, keep others safe, face mask, always remember, put patients always first.
I would like to thank the psychosocial team at the London Spinal Cord Injury Centre. That's Carol Smythe, Georgia Kos, Parasha Ramanuj and Lana Sykes. You've been brilliant all year. We've worked really well together. We've supported each other. You've been like family when I've been missing my family. And I'd like to thank you, and I look forward to another good year working together.
November came and COVID was still with us, with an increase in case numbers. We continued to mask up, and we did our best to make sure others did too. But it wasn't all bad news. The good news continued as the RNOH was voted one of the top 10 specialist orthopaedic hospitals in the world.
I personally want to say thank you to every single person in JRU, sarcoma and histopathology. I can't thank you enough for everybody's efforts throughout the whole of the year. Within sarcoma and histopathology, we've ensured that we've continued to treat all of our cancer patients, which is absolutely phenomenal, and thank you to all of the support services that have helped to ensure and drive that work through.
2020 has been an extraordinary year for everyone working in the NHS, and for us here at the RNOH. Our teams have come together and worked together, collaborated in new ways, cared for each other and continue to deliver great care throughout. And for me, that has been the best part about 2020.
And as we entered December, the days grew shorter, but light did appear on the horizon: a COVID vaccine. The NHS began the largest vaccination rollout campaign in its history. We held regular webinars to keep colleagues informed.
So I'd like to pay tribute to the entire pharmacy workforce, to be able to sort of help them reflect upon themselves in terms of the value that they've added to patient care at the RNOH, and that is really, really important.
In the next few weeks, the vaccine will arrive at the RNOH and we will begin the path to recovery.
My plea to everybody is to make sure that if you're able to, please get yourself vaccinated.
Along the way, we will continue to do what we've always done, caring for our patients and each other. To all of you, thank you. Keep being kind, keep caring, and keep being the RNOH we love.
2020 has seen the biggest public health emergency in most of our lifetimes. The RNOH has risen to the many challenges it's presented magnificently. We turned ourselves into one of the country's largest trauma centres in just a matter of days. And our patients had some of the best outcomes in the NHS, which is a true testament to the talent of the team. We've been a major player in getting London's elective programme back on its feet. And throughout the crisis, we've been there for our patients with our core specialist services, services which have rightly earned recognition as being amongst the very best in the world. I know that that's only been possible because of the work that each and every one of you have done, because of your professionalism, your versatility, your commitment, and also a good deal of personal sacrifice for you and for your families and loved ones. I just want to say that what you do in caring for others is amongst the most valuable work it's possible to do in society at all times, not just in a year of crisis like this year. You should be hugely proud of what you've achieved this year, but also of what you do every day. Thank you.
At any time, I would be immensely proud to be your Chief Executive and Chief Nurse. But of course, this year has provided us with challenges that we couldn't have imagined. The way that you've responded has been humbling. Without exception, I've seen a team who've been responsive, flexible, adaptable, and when asked if something can be done, have worked hard and innovatively to always say yes. The work you did not only helped the rest of the NHS in London cope, but more importantly, it ensured that the patients we looked after received fantastic care in a time when things looked very uncertain for the NHS. Amongst all of this, we've seen a renewed commitment to the characteristic that I have no doubt makes this place special: the diversity of the people that make up the RNOH family. There are going to be busy and challenging months ahead of us. For us to be successful, we will need to work even more closely and collaboratively than before. Having such amazing colleagues fills me with confidence that we will not only achieve what needs to be done, but we will excel at it. I speak to each of you individually when I say I'm sincerely grateful to you as my colleague for everything that you do. I look forward to working with you in 2021. Thank you.
I wrote many songs in lockdown, and this is one of them. This one's called Sounds Like Stars, and this is for anyone who's ever been in love. I got a warm glow on the inside, like waking with you for the first time. We were writing all the chapters on a merry-go-round going faster. Well, we were young and we were beautiful, knew that we could change the world. You're the first to make me feel, pinch myself, prove you're real. When the sun goes down, we see the man on the moon. He told us how to get back home. We leave to arrive to Timbuktu. We shine like stars and ain't one after you. Without you, everything was invisible.
This will never be the same, you know that, it'll never be as good.
Patience I've had to have.
You brought your light to the darkness.
Testing.
The night
Sorry.
sky pierced.
Relax. I'm getting really nervous now. I can't remember what.
We were
Oh yeah.
movie scene.
My head goes just blank. Can you just hold it up and I can read it? Just hold it in your other hand.
Teardrops
Cool,
stain
cool.
the silver screen.
Yeah. It's a good boy.
I'm floating